Back in a frontier town, the cloaked spy stood alone atop the inn where he had observed the battle only hours before. The streets below had already begun returning to normal. Merchants reopened their stalls. Guards patrolled the walls. Citizens cautiously stepped back into the streets. It was almost as if the attack had never happened. The spy stared south. The two strangers had long since disappeared beyond the horizon. He made no attempt to follow them. There was no need. He had already seen enough. His thoughts returned to the battlefield, the desperate defense, the terrified civilians. Then, those two men, one attack, and an entire invading force had been erased. The spy slowly exhaled. I've served the Baharuth Empire for nearly my entire life. I've infiltrated kingdoms, watched adamantite adventurers fight, gathered intelligence on the sorcerer kingdom itself. He lowered his head, but never, not once, have I witnessed power like those two. He reached beneath his cloak and carefully removed a sealed communication scroll. A report this important could not wait. His Imperial Majesty had to know immediately. The spy hesitated for only a moment. Please, don't let them be allies of the Sorcerer King. Without another word, he broke the seal. The magic circle upon the scroll began to glow. Far to the south, the evening wind rushed past Goku and Vegeta as they flew above endless forests and mountain ranges. The frontier town had long since vanished behind them. Goku stretched his arms as they flew. This world's bigger than I thought, Goku said with a grin as they continued south. Vegeta kept his eyes fixed ahead. It's not the size. It's whatever's waiting for us. Goku looked over. You feel it too? Vegeta smirked. I feel an army, and a handful of things that don't make sense. Ahead, far beyond the mountains, dark clouds slowly gathered over the distant horizon. The wind grew colder. Neither Scion knew what awaited them beyond those plains. Only that, for the first time since arriving in this strange world, they were finally approaching an opponent that refused to fit the rules they understood. Far to the south, at the center of an enormous military encampment, Demiurge slowly lowered his hand as the communication spell disappeared. The camp remained alive with activity. Thousands of demi-human soldiers sharpened weapons, repaired armor, and prepared siege engines beneath the light of countless torches. Several commanders approached and bowed. Lord Jaldabaoth, the army awaits your orders. Demiurge quietly adjusted his glasses. The advance begins immediately. One of the commanders looked up. Will you be leading the assault personally? A faint smile crossed Demiurge's face. No, there has been a change. He slowly walked toward a massive map spread across a stone table. His finger traced the roads leading into the Holy Kingdom. Our objective remains unchanged. The invasion proceeds exactly as planned. He looked toward the commanders. You will lead the first assault. The cities are to be isolated, the roads secured, the refugees driven north exactly as instructed. Every commander bowed. Yes, Lord Jaldabaoth. After they departed, silence returned to the command tent. Only Demiurge remained. He looked toward the southern sky. So, you have chosen this direction. He smiled faintly, as expected of Ainz Ooal. So this is the variable you wish me to study. Outside the tent, a dark magic circle slowly formed across the ground. Flames burst upward. From within them, a towering demonic figure emerged, the evil Lord Wrath. Its burning crimson eyes immediately lowered toward Demiurge. Without hesitation, the demon knelt. Moments later, two smaller magic circles appeared beside it. A pair of elder liches stepped forward, ancient staffs resting in skeletal hands. Behind them, several high-ranking undead silently emerged from the darkness. Not an army, merely enough to support the experiment. Demiurge calmly looked upon them. You are not to seek victory. You are not to fight recklessly. You will observe. You will pressure them. You will force them to reveal their abilities. The evil lord lowered its head. As you command. Demiurge then turned toward the elder liches. You will support from a distance. Begin with low-tier offensive magic. If ineffective, escalate gradually. I want every resistance, every immunity, and every weakness recorded." The undead answered in perfect unison. "Understood." Demiurge folded his hands behind his back. "If they truly possess power beyond our understanding, their reactions will tell us more than any battle." His gaze drifted toward the dark horizon. "And if even evil Lord Wrath cannot force them to reveal their limits." A small smile appeaed. Then Ainz Ooal's caution was entirely justified. Far above the forests, two streaks of light continued racing toward the Holy Kingdom, unaware that the battlefield awaiting them had already changed. For Demiurge, this was no longer merely an invasion. It had become an experiment. The evening wind cut through the sky as Goku and Vegeta continued their flight south. Below them, the world slowly began to change. Forests gave way to endless plains. The farther they flew, the more signs of civilization appeared. Roads, burned villages, abandoned farms, smoke rising in the distance. Then, tiny lights flickered across the horizon. Goku narrowed his eyes. There, Vegeta followed his gaze. So that's where this pathetic army is hiding. As they closed the distance, the faint life signatures they had sensed earlier became clearer. Thousands. No, far more than that. An ocean of weak life spread across the plains below. Soldiers, demi-humans, beasts, all moving as one. Goku scratched his cheek. "So many," Vegeta scoffed, "and every one of them is weak. Not a single one stands out." To the Saiyans, powerful warriors normally felt like blazing stars among ordinary people. This army was nothing more than countless tiny sparks. Only their sheer numbers made them noticeable. Then, Goku frowned. Vegeta glanced sideways. "What now?" Goku concentrated harder. "Something strange." Vegeta smirked. "You're still thinking about that axe?" Goku laughed. "Maybe. It didn't hurt, but it definitely felt different." Vegeta let out a short laugh. So a peasant actually managed to surprise you." Goku smiled. "I didn't say he was strong. I said it was weird. TCH. Vegeta folded his arms. "If that impressed you, you've been spending too much time sparring with Gohan." Goku laughed. "I figured you'd say that." Vegeta looked back toward the army. "They're insects. Whatever little tricks they've learned, they're still insects." His grin slowly returned. "If this is the greatest force this world can gather, I'm almost disappointed." Goku kept staring below. "I don't know. I've got a feeling there's something we're missing." Before Vegeta could answer, his eyes narrowed. "Kakarot, you see them too?" Goku nodded. "Yeah." Among the countless life signatures, a handful of empty spaces moved together with the army. Only a few, not many. Yet every living soldier instinctively shifted around them, leaving small pockets where no life could be sensed. "That's odd," Goku muttered. "They're moving, but I can't sense anyone there." Vegeta clicked his tongue. If they're hiding, they're already admitting they're weaker." Goku wasn't so sure. His thoughts drifted back once more to the Bafo commander. Weak, yet somehow, his attack had carried unexpected weight. Now, something else refused to fit. The two Saiyans exchanged a brief glance. Neither spoke. Without slowing, they continued toward the massive encampment, unaware that those empty spaces weren't empty at all. Hidden among the living ranks, Death Knights marched in complete silence. Elder Liches observed from within the formation. Neither possessed any life force for the Saiyans to sense. Far beyond the battlefield, watching from a distant hill concealed beneath Nazarick's greatest stealth magic, the true observers never revealed themselves. For now, the experiment had begun. Far beyond the battlefield, upon a lonely hill overlooking the endless plains, nothing could be seen. No movement, no sound, not even the wind disturbed the empty landscape. Yet beneath layers of Nazarick's supreme concealment, several figures silently watched the approaching Saiyans. At the center stood Demiurge. His hands rested calmly behind his back. His expression remained as composed as ever. Before him Several floating magic screens displayed the battlefield from different angles. Every movement, every reaction, every detail, nothing escaped Nazarick's gaze. The demi-human host continued its relentless advance. Thousands marched in disciplined formation. Siege towers rolled steadily across the plains. Supply wagons followed behind, scattered among the living ranks. Death Knights marched in absolute silence. Elder Liches maintained their positions, awaiting the signal to begin. The invasion never slowed. It had already claimed countless lives. Soon, another city of the Holy Kingdom would meet the same fate. For Demiurge, the operation remained unchanged. Only, a new variable had entered the battlefield. His eyes never left the two figures crossing the evening sky. For several long moments, he simply observed. Then, they noticed, standing a few paces behind him, Lord Wrath quietly opened his eyes. They altered their course only after observing the formations. Demiurge gave a small nod, and yet, they continued forward. Wrath remained silent. Demiurge's gaze shifted toward one of the floating screens. The countless living signatures advanced as expected. The hidden undead did not. Interesting. Not proof, but evidence. The hypothesis becomes more likely. They perceive something, but not everything. The Elder Liches and Death Knights will engage. They are to observe, record, adapt. They are not to pursue unnecessary risks. Lord Wrath lowered his head. As you command. Silence returned. The only sound was the distant march of an army advancing toward war. Demiurge watched the two scions for another moment. Then, without the slightest change in expression, he gave one final order. When the first phase concludes, his shining eyes shifted briefly toward Lord Wrath. You will greet our guests. Lord Wrath lowered his head. As you command, Lord Demiurge. For a brief moment, neither spoke. Below them, the vast demi-human host continued its relentless advance. Thousands marched in disciplined formation. The ground trembled beneath their footsteps. Smoke rose from distant settlements already claimed by the invasion. The Holy Kingdom's fate continued to unfold. Exactly as planned, Demiurge's gaze remained fixed upon the floating magical screens. The objective remains unchanged. The Holy Kingdom will fall. Our guests are merely another variable. Lord Wrath remained motionless. I understand. The Elder Liches and Death Knights will complete the first phase. I will not intervene until their task has concluded. Demiurge gave the slightest nod. Correct. There is no value in revealing unnecessary information. If the first phase provides sufficient data, your presence will be unnecessary. Lord Wrath accepted the statement without hesitation. And should it fail, only then did Demiurge's expression change. Almost imperceptibly, it will not fail. A brief silence followed. It will simply end. His gemstone-like eyes reflected the image of the two scions soaring steadily toward the battlefield. What follows depends entirely upon them. Lord Wrath slowly folded his arms across his broad chest. Then I shall await your signal. Demiurge returned his attention to the battlefield. You need not await it. If the Elder Liches have completed their purpose, you will know. Lord Wrath inclined his head once more. As you command. Silence settled over the concealed hill. Far below, the army marched ever closer to the Holy Kingdom. Far above, two scions unknowingly flew toward the first true test Nazarick had prepared for them. Below, the battlefield stretched farther than either scion had expected. From horizon to horizon, the earth seemed alive. An endless sea of marching demi-humans advanced with disciplined precision. Towering batfolk, ranks of armored orcs, disciplined hobgoblin phalanxes, goblin scouts racing ahead of the main force. Between them, massive siege towers rolled steadily toward the distant walls of the Holy Kingdom. Smoke drifted into the evening sky, not from the army, from villages, some already burned, others still burned. Farther ahead, long lines of refugees desperately fled south. Families, children, wounded soldiers helping one another walk. Behind them, Holy Kingdom knights struggled to delay the advancing horde. The battle had already begun. It wasn't a single battlefield. It stretched across the countryside itself. Goku's smile slowly disappeared. They're attacking everyone. Vegeta glanced across the plains. They're certainly thorough. For several moments, neither spoke. Both understood the same thing. A careless blast, even one far weaker than their full strength, would tear through the battlefield without distinguishing friend from foe. For Goku, the choice was immediate. For Vegeta, it was merely an inconvenience. The battlefield itself had become another obstacle. Far below, the endless host marched onward without hesitation. The thunder of countless footsteps shook the plains. War horns echoed across the battlefield. Commands rang out from demi-human captains as ranks shifted with practiced precision. Smoke rose from burning villages scattered across the countryside. Refugees fled in desperate waves toward the distant walls of the Holy Kingdom. Some stumbled, some carried children, others refused to leave behind the wounded. Behind them, the invasion continued. Relentless, unstoppable. Goku watched in silence. His expression slowly hardened. Vegeta, what? We can't just blow this army away. Vegeta's eyes never left the battlefield. I know, T-Sage, too many people. Even he understood. One careless ki barrage, one misplaced energy wave, would tear through friend and foe alike. The battlefield had become a prison of its own making. Goku exhaled. I'm going down. Without waiting for an answer, he angled toward the battlefield below. Vegeta didn't follow. Go play the hero. His eyes swept across the advancing army. Searching. Someone had to be directing it. An army of this size didn't move with such discipline on its own. Yet, no powerful life force stood above the rest. No commander, no general, nothing. Show yourself. For several moments, only the sound of marching answered him. Then, a crimson bolt tore through the sky. Vegeta shifted slightly. The projectile screamed past him before exploding high above the battlefield. His eyes immediately followed its path. Far below, a skeletal figure calmly lowered its staff. Another raised its own. A second crimson bolt shot skyward. Vegeta narrowed his eyes. A skeleton? His gaze swept across the battlefield. There wasn't just one. There were dozens. Each marched among the living soldiers without a trace of hesitation. Another volley erupted. Vegeta effortlessly slipped between the incoming attacks. His attention never left the figures below. No life force. His eyes narrowed further. Yet they're moving. Another spell screamed toward him. He twisted aside. They're already dead. For the first time, a faint grin appeared across his face. So that's why I couldn't sense them. At least this world's got a few surprises. Another volley of spells streaked toward him. Vegeta vanished. The projectiles collided harmlessly in the empty sky. He reappeared several dozen meters higher. His sharp eyes continued sweeping the battlefield below. No, the one giving orders. Show yourself. Without another glance, Goku dove. The wind roared past him as he descended toward the battlefield. Below, the cries became clearer. A young mother stumbled to the ground, shielding her child as a pack of demi-humans closed in. A line of exhausted Holy Kingdom soldiers desperately tried to hold them back. They were losing. Fast, one of the soldiers looked up. His face turned pale. Above us, before anyone could react, an enormous shadow crashed between the refugees and the charging demi-humans. Boom! The earth split beneath Goku's feet. A violent shockwave blasted outward. Several demi-humans were hurled backward before they even understood what had happened. Dust filled the air. Silence. Then, a calm voice. You guys all right? The mother slowly looked up. The stranger in the orange GI stood between them and the army. His back faced the refugees. His eyes never left the enemy. A Bafo commander roared and charged forward, raising its massive axe. Goku didn't move. The axe came down. Clang! It shattered against Goku's forearm. The commander froze. Goku blinked. I thought you'd be stronger. With a casual backhand, The Batfolk was launched across the battlefield, crashing through dozens of its own soldiers. Before the dust settled, heavy footsteps from the burning village beside him. Several towering figures emerged. Black armor, tower shields, glowing crimson eyes. Death Knights. They marched without hesitation, without fear, without life. Goku's smile disappeared. You? He stared at them. I never felt you. The Death Knights answered only by raising their swords. Goku's eyes remained fixed on them. Nothing. He frowned. Not even a little. The feeling was unsettling. Every living thing, from the frightened refugees to the charging demi-humans, possessed a faint spark of life. These had nothing. It was as if empty suits of armor had simply begun walking on their own. How are you moving? No answer came. The Death Knights charged. Their heavy footsteps shook the earth. Goku sighed. Guess I'll ask somebody else. He disappeared. The ground exploded beneath his feet. The first Death Knight never even saw him. Goku's fist struck squarely through its breastplate. Boom! The undead knight was hurled hundreds of feet across the battlefield, smashing through rocks and armored wagons alike. Its body crumpled into the earth. Goku blinked. The Death Knight moved. Slowly, it pushed itself back onto its feet. Its armor was shattered, its shield destroyed. Yet, it still stood. The crimson glow within its helmet never flickered. Goku stared. You survived that? For the briefest instant, even the fleeing Holy Kingdom soldiers froze. A direct hit like that should have annihilated anything. High above, Vegeta caught the exchange from the corner of his eye. Oomph. Tough little corpse. Before Goku could move again, crack! A crimson bolt exploded against his shoulder. The blast pushed him back several meters. Then another. A spear of ice. A lance of black lightning. 3 more magical projectiles tore across the battlefield from completely different directions. Goku twisted through 2. The third burst against his forearm as he shielded the refugees behind him. They're coming from everywhere. His eyes darted across the battlefield. Then, he saw them, robed skeletal figures, hidden among the marching ranks, staffs raised, calmly preparing another volley. So, you're the ones doing this. Without hesitation, Goku smiled. Then let's stop you first. Without hesitation, Goku smiled. Then let's stop you first. The earth shattered beneath his feet. Boom! In a single instant, he vanished. One of the Elder Liches had only begun lifting its staff. Crack! Goku's fist slammed into its skull. The undead spellcaster became a blur as it was hurled across the battlefield, tearing through wagons, siege equipment, and ranks of startled demi-humans before disappearing into the distance. Gasps erupted from every direction. Before anyone could process what had happened, Goku was already somewhere else. Another Elder Lich looked up. Too late. A spinning kick connected with its ribs. The undead mage shot through an entire formation of hobgoblins, scattering bodies in every direction. Goku stopped. His eyes swept across the battlefield. There was still more. Far more. Every time one disappeared, another calmly raised its staff from somewhere else within the marching army. They're spread out. Another volley erupted. Crimson bolts, dark lances, spears of ice. Goku darted between them. He could see every projectile, but he couldn't predict them. They simply appeared. One bolt exploded against his shoulder as he twisted to shield another group of fleeing civilians. The blast pushed him back several feet. The refugees stared in disbelief. Goku smiled reassuringly. Keep going. We'll handle it. Without another word, he rushed forward again. Heavy footsteps echoed behind him. Goku turned. 3 Death Knights emerged from the smoke. Their crimson eyes glowed beneath battered helms. Not a single trace of life came from them. Nothing. No heartbeat. No presence. No spark. It was like staring at empty armor that had chosen to walk. You're weird. The first Death Knight swung. Goku caught the blade effortlessly. It shattered between his fingers. With a single punch, the undead warrior disappeared into the horizon. Boom! The second charged immediately after. Goku met it with a casual backhand. Another explosion. Then, His eyes widened. What? Far in the distance. The first Death Knight slowly climbed back to its feet. Its armor was mangled, its shield reduced to scrap. Yet, it continued marching, as though nothing had happened. Goku frowned slightly. Guess it wasn't just that one. He watched the undead continue its relentless advance. Another barrage descended from every direction. Fire, lightning, ice, dark lances. Goku stopped moving. The spells closed in. Then, his body vanished. Boom! A shockwave erupted across the battlefield. Every incoming projectile shattered before reaching him. The surrounding refugees stared in disbelief. Goku reappeared high above the battlefield. His expression remained calm. These things just keep coming. He closed his eyes for only an instant. His senses expanded, not searching for the undead, searching for life. Thousands. Refugees. Holy Kingdom soldiers. Demi-humans. He immediately understood. I can't hit too hard. His gaze snapped toward another Elder Lich. He disappeared. Crack. The skeletal mage never finished its spell. Goku struck it so quickly the air itself exploded. Before the fragments had even begun to fall, he was already somewhere else. Another Elder Lich. Another punch. Another shockwave. Another. To the soldiers below, it looked impossible. One moment, the orange-clad warrior stood beside them. The next, explosions erupted across the battlefield faster than the eye could follow. Every blast marked another spellcaster disappearing. But Goku was beginning to notice something else. The Holy Kingdom soldiers were retreating, not because they had been ordered to, because they were breaking. Some dragged wounded comrades toward the city. Others abandoned shattered shields and stumbled backward through the mud. Entire formations were collapsing beneath the endless demi-human advance. And between them, civilians, men, women, children, still trapped outside the walls. Goku's eyes narrowed. The Elder Liches had been dangerous, but they weren't the only problem. Below him, thousands of demi-humans continued rushing forward. Some chased the retreating soldiers. Others dragged civilians from broken wagons. A massive Bafok warrior lifted a screaming boy by the back of his shirt. Another raised its spear toward a wounded woman lying in the mud. Farther away, several children had been forced in front of an advancing formation, tiny bodies being pushed toward the Holy Kingdom's remaining defenders. The soldiers hesitated. They couldn't attack without hitting them. The demi-humans knew it. Goku stared down at them. His expression changed. Using kids, his fists tightened. For an instant, the air around him trembled. Every nearby soldier felt it. A pressure unlike magic, unlike fear. Something enormous had briefly awakened above them. Then, it disappeared. Goku exhaled slowly. No, he lowered one hand. I have to control it. A small blue light appeared in his palm. It was no larger than a marble. Several surviving paladins looked up. Their faces went pale. Even from the ground, they could feel the energy inside it. Goku aimed toward the battlefield, not at the soldiers, not at the civilians, at the earth between them and the demi-human army. He fired. The light vanished from his hand. A thin blue streak crossed the battlefield. Then, boom, the ground erupted. A wall of dirt, stone, and broken weapons rose into the air. Hundreds of demi-humans were thrown backward. The civilians at the front remained untouched. Even the children, standing only a few feet from the blast, were unharmed. Goku disappeared. The Bafok holding the boy suddenly froze. Its fingers opened. Before the child could fall, Goku caught him. The creature stared at its empty hand, then at the orange-clad warrior standing beside it. Goku looked down at the boy. You okay? The child couldn't answer. Goku gave him a small smile. Don't worry. He vanished again. The boy appeared beside a group of retreating soldiers. Before any of them could react, Goku was already gone, back among the enemy. A demi-human raised its blade. Goku struck its chest with 2 fingers. Thud! The creature shot backward, crashing through several warriors behind it. Another swung an axe. Goku leaned aside. The blade missed his face by less than an inch. His hand touched the attacker's stomach. A short burst of blue light flashed. Boom! The demi-human vanished into the advancing ranks. Goku moved again. A punch, a kick, a palm strike, a control blast. Every attack carried only a fraction of his strength. But against the demi-humans, a fraction was more than enough. One moment, the army continued its advance. The next, entire sections of it collapsed. Demi-humans flew through the air. Weapons shattered. Shields split apart. Siege ladders snapped in half. The warriors surrounding the captured children disappeared one after another. Not killed by some enormous explosion. Removed with terrifying precision. Goku appeared beside the children. Run toward the wall. They stared at him, frozen. Goku pointed toward the retreating Holy Kingdom soldiers. Go, they'll protect you. One girl finally moved, then another. Within seconds, they were running. A demi-human archer drew its bow. Goku's head turned. The arrow never left the string. A small ki blast struck the bow and shattered it. Then Goku vanished. Crack! The archer folded around his fist and flew backward. The children reached the soldiers. A wounded paladin stared at them, then toward the battlefield. They're alive. All around him, more civilians began emerging from the chaos. People who should have been crushed beneath the demi-human advance. People who had already been surrounded. People who had nowhere left to run. One after another, they were appearing behind the retreating soldiers. Saved before anyone could understand how. A captain raised his blood-covered sword. Protect them. The exhausted soldiers looked toward him. Form a line. Some could barely stand. Others had lost their shields. But when they saw the rescued children behind them, they stopped retreating. Shields rose. Spears lowered. The broken formation slowly came together again. Goku appeared in front of them. Several soldiers flinched. He glanced over his shoulder. You guys can still fight. The captain stared at him, then tightened his grip around his sword. Yes. Goku smiled. Good. He turned toward the demi-human army. Then protect everyone behind you. The captain looked across the battlefield. The enemy still outnumbered them many times over. But now, the center of the demi-human army was in chaos. Their spellcasters were gone. Their front ranks had been scattered. Their commanders could no longer understand what was happening. For the first time since the invasion began, the advance had stopped. The captain raised his sword. Holy Kingdom. Hundreds of exhausted soldiers looked toward him. Forward. A roar erupted from the surviving ranks. They charged. Goku launched himself ahead of them. He remained close to the ground now. A blue light formed around his body. Not an uncontrolled aura. Not enough to consume the battlefield. Only a thin layer of energy following his movements. He tore through the demi-human formation. Everywhere the blue light passed. Weapons shattered. Shields exploded. Warriors were thrown from their feet. Goku changed direction constantly, never allowing a blast to travel toward the civilians, never striking close enough to bury them beneath debris, never using more power than necessary. But to the people watching, there was nothing restrained about it. He moved faster than their eyes could follow, faster than their spells, faster than arrows already in flight. The Holy Kingdom soldiers charged into the openings he created. They recovered civilians, pulled wounded comrades from a mud, surrounded isolated demi-human units. What had been a retreat became a counterattack. High above the battlefield, a magical image displayed everything. Demiurge watched silently. The loss of the Elder Liches did not concern him. Neither did the collapsing demi-human formations. They had already served their purpose. His eyes followed the orange-clad warrior. The precision was extraordinary. Thousands of possible targets. Hundreds of civilians mixed among them. And yet, not one misplaced attack. Not one accidental death. Goku was controlling every movement, every strike, every burst of energy. Demiurge adjusted his glasses so he can distinguish individual lives while moving at that speed. That was valuable, more valuable than another display of raw destruction. The warrior's strength was immense, but his restraint revealed something far more useful. He could have destroyed the entire battlefield. Instead, he was limiting himself for people he had never met. Demiurge smiled faintly. As expected, Son Goku's greatest strength and the easiest means of directing him were the same thing. Below, Goku stopped suddenly. The battlefield continued moving around him. Soldiers rushed past. Demi-humans screamed. Steel collided, but Goku no longer looked at any of them. His head slowly turned toward the heart of the burning city. There, beyond the walls, beyond the smoke, thousands of lives remained trapped. Some were weak, some were injured, others were fading rapidly. Goku could feel them disappearing one after another. His expression hardened. There are still people inside. A group of demi-humans rushed toward him. Goku didn't even look at them. His body disappeared. Boom! The entire group was thrown backward by the force of his departure. A blue streak shot toward the burning city. Far behind him, Vegeta remained above the battlefield. His arms were still crossed. His eyes followed Goku's movement through the smoke. Oomph! Below him, the Holy Kingdom soldiers had begun pushing forward. Demi-humans were retreating from formations that had appeared unstoppable only moments earlier. Demiurge observed the battlefield from afar. The orange-clad fool had changed the entire battle without using even a fraction of his strength. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. Kakarot, a glowing projectile, rushed toward him. Vegeta tilted his head. The spell passed beside his face. Another came from below. He shifted several inches to the side. It missed. A third exploded against the air behind him. Vegeta remained unharmed. He hadn't even unfolded his arms. The surviving spellcasters continued firing. Flames, lightning, black spheres of condensed magic. Dozens of attacks crossed the sky. Vegeta moved through them with almost insulting ease. A slight turn, a small movement, a brief shift through the air. Every spell missed. The demi-human soldiers below stared upward. To them, it looked as though the attacks were refusing to touch him. Vegeta looked down at the distant spellcasters. Pathetic. Another volley began to form. Then, it stopped. The glowing staffs went dark. The battlefield became strangely quiet around him. Vegeta's eyes moved from one spellcaster to another. None of them attacked. None of them moved. Some lowered their heads. Others stepped back. Vegeta slowly uncrossed his arms. What now? Nothing answered him. The wind carried smoke across the sky. Far below, the demi-human army continued fighting. But around Vegeta, the attacks had completely stopped. He glanced toward the burning city. Kakarot must have frightened them. Behind him, the air shifted. No sound, no explosion, no surge of power. A massive figure stood only a few feet away. Its enormous body burned beneath dark armor. Great wings stretched from its back. A long tail moved slowly through the smoke. Flames rolled across its shoulders without producing heat or light beyond the concealment surrounding it. The evil Lord of Wrath stared down at Vegeta. Vegeta remained unaware. He felt no life force behind him. No movement, no mana, nothing. From his position far from the battlefield, Demiurge watched. His eyes sharpened. Vegeta had not turned. He had not reacted. He had avoided every visible spell, detected every direct attack, responded to every physical movement around him. But now, with the evil lord concealed by magic, nothing. Demiurge adjusted his glasses. So that is the distinction. It wasn't that Vegeta possessed perfect awareness. He reacted to what his senses could identify. Physical movement, killing intent, perhaps even the energy contained inside a spell once it was released. But conceal the caster completely, suppress its presence before the attack. And the warrior remained unaware. Demiurge's smile widened slightly. Very useful. The evil lord raised one enormous fist. The concealment remained intact. Vegeta continued staring toward the city. Then, the fist descended. At the final instant, the concealment broke. Heat exploded across Vegeta's back. His eyes widened. He turned. Too late. Boom! The evil lord's fist struck him from behind. The sky erupted. A ring of fire and compressed air expanded across the battlefield. Vegeta became a blue blur, launched downward with enough force to tear through the smoke. He crashed into the earth. The ground split open. Stone erupted upward. Demi-humans and Holy Kingdom soldiers were thrown from their feet as an enormous crater swallowed part of the battlefield. For several seconds, nothing moved inside it. The evil lord hovered above the destruction. Flames poured from its body. Every nearby demi-human fell silent. Then, deep inside the crater, a hand pushed through the broken stone. Vegeta rose slowly. Dust fell from his armor. A thin line of blood ran from the corner of his mouth. He wiped it away with his thumb, then looked at it. His expression remained completely still. Above him, the evil lord waited. Vegeta lifted his eyes toward it. The ground beneath his feet began to tremble. "You struck me from behind." The air grew heavier. Broken stones started rising around him. Vegeta's face twisted with rage. "You're going to regret that." The evil lord of wrath spread its wings. Flames rolled across the sky. Then, it descended. The enormous demon dropped toward the crater with both fists raised. Vegeta remained still. His eyes followed it. This time, there was no concealment, no attack from behind, only a massive creature charging directly at him. Vegeta lowered his chin. Too slow, the evil lord struck. Boom! Its fists crashed into the crater. The earth collapsed beneath them. A pillar of fire erupted toward the sky. But Vegeta was gone. The evil lord's eyes shifted. Vegeta appeared beside its head. His leg was already moving. Crack! His heel struck the demon's face. The evil lord was launched across the battlefield. Its enormous body tore through rows of demi-humans before crashing through a siege tower. Wood and metal collapsed over it. Vegeta slowly lowered his leg. That was for the cheap shot. The wreckage moved. A massive claw pushed through the burning wood. Then another. The evil lord rose. Part of its face had been crushed. One horn hung broken beside its head. Dark blood ran from its mouth. Its voice remained calm. "Your strength is remarkable." Vegeta raised an eyebrow. "So you can talk." The demon seized its broken horn. Crack! It tore it free. Flames covered the damaged side of its face. Broken flesh pulled itself together. Bone returned to its proper position. Within seconds, the wound had closed. Vegeta watched the recovery. "So you can regenerate." The evil lord stepped out of the wreckage. "You believe physical strength alone places you beyond this world's power." Vegeta smirked. "No." He crossed his arms. "I know it does." The evil lord's flames intensified. "Then I will correct your misunderstanding." Vegeta's smile widened. "Try." Then Vegeta disappeared. The evil lord raised its arms. Too late. A fist buried itself in its stomach. Boom! The demon folded around the blow. Vegeta struck again. A punch shattered its jaw. Another cracked its chest. A third drove it backward. Then another, and another. Each impact came faster than the last. The evil lord's armor broke apart. Dark blood sprayed across the burning ground. Before it could fall, Vegeta seized it by the throat. He lifted the enormous demon with one hand. "Is this your idea of correcting me?" The evil lord struggled against his grip. Vegeta tightened his fingers. "You're even weaker than I thought." He threw it upward. The demon's massive body disappeared into the smoke. Vegeta launched after it. He appeared above the evil lord and drove both fists into its back. Boom! The demon plummeted. It crashed into the battlefield with enough force to create another crater. Vegeta descended slowly. The evil lord pushed itself from the broken earth. Its chest was crushed. One arm hung uselessly beside it. Flames covered its wounds. Bones shifted. Flesh reconnected. The damage began healing again. Vegeta landed at the crater's edge. "You can repair your body." He narrowed his eyes. "But that won't save you." The evil lord rose. "No." Its deep voice remained calm. "But it gives me time to understand you." Vegeta scoffed. "You won't live long enough." The evil lord lifted one claw toward the sky. Meteor fall. Vegeta saw nothing around the demon. No energy, no sign of an attack. Then, the clouds above the battlefield turned red. A deep roar rolled across the sky. Vegeta looked upward. The first burning object broke through the clouds. Then another. Then dozens more. Massive stones covered in magical fire descended toward the battlefield. Soldiers stopped fighting. Demi-humans scattered in every direction. The entire sky appeared to collapse. Vegeta smiled. Finally, the first meteor struck. Boom! The battlefield vanished beneath fire and stone. Another impact followed. Then another. Explosions tore open the earth. Vegeta shot between the falling meteors. He avoided one. Then another. A third descended directly toward him. He raised one hand. The meteor crashed into his palm. The sky shook. For an instant, Vegeta was forced downward. Then his arm stopped trembling. He threw the meteor back into the sky. It smashed through two more falling stones. All three exploded above the battlefield. Vegeta emerged through the fire. Smoke rose from his armor. His eyes locked onto the evil lord. You'll need something better than that. He disappeared. The evil lord watched him approach. Vegeta's fist rushed toward its face. Then, time stopped. Everything ceased. Vegeta froze. Completely. His fist remained inches from the evil lord. His eyes did not move. His body did not breathe. The flames stopped. Smoke became motionless. Fragments of the destroyed meteors hung across the sky. Only the evil lord continued moving. It stepped around Vegeta. You are faster than I could ever become. The demon moved behind him. But speed is meaningless when no time remains in which to use it. It raised both fists. Time resumed. To Vegeta, the evil lord vanished. His punch struck empty air. His eyes widened. What? Boom! Both fists crashed in his back. Vegeta was launched toward the earth. He struck the battlefield hard enough to split the ground beneath him. The evil lord hovered above the crater. Vegeta pushed himself from the rubble. His face twisted in disbelief. He hadn't seen the creature move, hadn't sensed it. One moment, it had been directly in front of him. The next, it had somehow moved behind him. Vegeta stared upward. It became faster. The evil lord descended. Vegeta followed its energy closely now. Heavy, alive, filled with something dark and violent. Nothing like the faint demi-humans surrounding them. Vegeta could sense every movement it made, every shift of its body, every approach. The evil lord landed at the crater's edge. You appear confused. Vegeta rose. Don't flatter yourself. He wiped the blood from his mouth. You surprised me once. The evil lord stepped forward. Twice. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. The demon charged. Vegeta tracked it easily. He slipped beneath its first punch and drove his fist toward its chest. Then, time stopped. The world froze. The evil lord stepped aside. Vegeta remained motionless. His fist hung uselessly in the air. The demon walked behind him. You still believe this is speed? It raised its arm, then continued trying to outrun me. Time resumed. Wrath's energy instantly shifted. Front, then behind. Vegeta's eyes widened. Ow! The demon's forearm struck the back of his neck. Boom! Vegeta crashed through the crater wall. Before Wrath could follow, the rubble exploded. Vegeta shot from beneath it. His fist struck the demon's stomach. Crack! Wrath folded around the blow. Vegeta seized its arm and threw it across the battlefield. The demon struck the earth and carved a trench through hundreds of feet of stone. Vegeta appeared above it. You're not faster than me. A blue aura erupted around him. The ground collapsed beneath the pressure. You're not even close. He descended. Wrath watched him approach. Time stopped. Vegeta froze again. His aura stopped with him. Blue light remained suspended around his body. The evil lord moved aside calmly. It raised both fists directly above Vegeta. Correct. Time resumed. Wrath's energy jumped again. Vegeta barely registered change. Boom! Both fists struck him from above. He was driven deep beneath the battlefield. The impact formed a crater wide enough to swallow entire formations. Far away, Demiurge observed in silence. Vegeta could clearly sense the evil lord now. That much was obvious. The warrior's eyes followed every ordinary movement perfectly. But each time time stop activated, his body became entirely helpless. When the spell ended, he reacted as if Wrath had crossed the distance instantaneously. Demiurge adjusted his glasses. He believes it to be speed, a useful misunderstanding, one that encouraged Vegeta to rely even more heavily on the very advantage time stop removed. Inside the crater, blue light erupted through the cracks. The battlefield shook. Vegeta blasted from underground. His armor was fractured. Blood ran from his forehead, but his energy had risen dramatically. He stopped across from Wrath. The evil lord could feel the difference. So could Demiurge. Vegeta was no longer merely irritated. His pride had been wounded. You want speed? The blue aura surrounding him expanded. I'll show you speed. Wrath extended both arms. Field of unclean. Dark flames erupted across the battlefield. They spread around the evil lord without consuming the ground beneath them. Vegeta saw the fire, but sensed no new life within it. No additional enemy. No understandable source of power. The flames wrapped around Wrath's body. Its damaged flesh began closing faster. Its physical presence grew heavier, more violent, more oppressive. Vegeta watched its energy rise. So that's your game. The evil lord's broken armor fell away as its body straightened. Within this field, demons are strengthened. Its eyes burn brighter, and Wrath is rewarded. Vegeta lowered his stance. Good. The ground beneath his feet shattered. Then when I crush you again, his aura surged. You won't have an excuse. Vegeta vanished. The crater exploded behind him. Wrath's head snapped upward. This time, it reacted. Its forearm rose just before Vegeta's fist struck. Boom! The impact drove the demon backward. Its feet carved 2 trenches through the burning ground, but it remained standing. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. The evil lord pushed his fist aside, then swung. Vegeta leaned beneath the blow. A second fist followed immediately. He blocked it with one arm. Thud! The force moved him several feet. Vegeta looked at Wrath's fist pressed against his guard. Better. Wrath's tail swept toward his side. Vegeta caught it, but not enough. He pulled the demon forward and drove his knee into its stomach. Boom! Wrath folded around the strike. Vegeta twisted its tail and hurled it into the air. He appeared above it. His heel came down. Time stopped. The world ceased. Vegeta froze with his leg raised. Wrath moved away from beneath him. It circled the motionless Scion and positioned itself directly behind his back. The dark flames of the field of unclean remained suspended around them. You continue relying on speed. Wrath drew back its fist, and so you continue failing. Time resumed. Vegeta's heel struck empty air. Wrath's energy instantly appeared behind him. His eyes widened. Again, there had been no movement, no path for him to follow. Only one position, then another. The demon's fist struck his spine. Boom! Vegeta crashed through the dark flames and struck the ground. Wrath descended after him, but Vegeta rolled aside before its feet landed. The battlefield erupted. Vegeta came out of the smoke and drove both fists into Wrath's chest. Crack! The demon flew backward. Vegeta stayed with it. A punch shattered its jaw. Another crushed its ribs. A kick broke one of its wings. Wrath attempted to raise its arms. Vegeta tore through its defense. Whatever trick you're using, he struck the demon's stomach. Boom! You're still too weak. His elbow smashed into its neck. Crack! To beat me, Vegeta seized Wrath by the face and drove it into the ground. The field of unclean shook. Dark flames scattered across the crater. Wrath lay beneath Vegeta's hand. Its body was broken again. Its chest barely moved. Vegeta stood over it. Regenerate from that. The demon's remaining eye opened. Soul-bought miracle. Vegeta felt nothing, saw nothing. Then, greater heal. A brilliant light descended over Wrath. Its broken wing snapped back into place. The crushed bones inside its chest reformed. Its jaw returned. The wounds covering its body disappeared. Vegeta stepped back. For the first time, Wrath rose without waiting for its natural regeneration. Completely restored, Vegeta stared at it. You gotta be kidding me. Far from the battlefield, Demiurge watched closely. Meteor Fall had tested Vegeta's destructive resistance. Time Stop had confirmed his vulnerability to temporal magic. Field of Unclean had measured his response to an empowered opponent. And now, Soulbot Miracle revealed something else. Vegeta understood physical recovery. He understood regeneration. But instantaneous magical restoration frustrated him. His anger was rising. And with it, so was his power. Demiurge adjusted his glasses. Continue. Wrath faced Vegeta once more. Dark flames gathered around its restored body. Your strength is considerable. Vegeta's fists tightened. But strength without understanding is merely wasted effort. The ground began trembling beneath Vegeta. His expression darkened. You healed your body. His aura surged violently. That doesn't mean I wasted anything. He raised one hand toward Wrath. Blue light gathered inside his palm. It only means I get to destroy you again. The light in Vegeta's palm intensified. Wrath spread its wings. Vegeta fired. Boom! A blue beam tore across the battlefield. Wrath launched upward. The attack passed beneath it and carved through the distant hills. The horizon flashed blue. Before Wrath could look down, Vegeta appeared above it. You're not getting away. His fist struck the demon's face. Crack! Wrath was launched through the smoke. Vegeta followed. Both figures disappeared into the clouds. Then, boom! A shockwave opened the sky. The clouds scattered outward in a massive ring. Wrath recovered and beat its wings once. Its enormous body shot forward. Vegeta met it head-on. Their fists collided. Boom! The impact shook the air above the entire battlefield. Far below, soldiers and demi-humans looked upward. They couldn't see the fighters clearly. Only two shapes crossing the sky, one surrounded by dark fire, the other followed by violent blue light. Vegeta twisted past Wrath's next punch. He struck its ribs, then its jaw, then its chest. Each impact pushed them higher. Wrath swung its tail. Vegeta blocked it with his forearm. The force sent him through a cloud. Wrath followed. It emerged behind him and drove both fists downward. Vegeta crossed his arms. Thud! He was forced toward the earth, then stopped in midair. His aura exploded. Huh! Wrath was thrown backward. Vegeta disappeared. A barrage of punches struck the demon from every direction. Its head snapped sideways. Its chest collapsed. Dark blood scattered through the sky. Wrath could sense the attacks. It could see Vegeta appearing around it, but its body could not respond quickly enough. Vegeta appeared directly before it. He drove his fist into its stomach. Boom! The demon folded around his arm. Vegeta leaned closer. This is your strengthened form. Wrath's remaining, I stared at him. It is sufficient. Vegeta's expression hardened. For what? Time stopped. The sky froze. Vegeta became motionless. His fist remained buried against Wrath's stomach. Drops of dark blood hung around them. Lightning inside the distant clouds stopped before it could flash. Wrath pulled itself away from Vegeta's frozen fist. It moved above him, then positioned both hands against his back. For this, time resumed. Wrath's energy vanished from Vegeta's front. It appeared above him. Vegeta's eyes shifted. Too late. Boom! The blow launched him from the clouds. Vegeta fell like a meteor. Smoke formed around his body as he tore toward the battlefield. Wrath folded its wings and descended after him. Vegeta's eyes opened. He turned in midair. The demon was already approaching. Vegeta stopped himself moments before striking the earth. The pressure of his sudden halt shattered the ground below. Wrath came down from above. Vegeta flew upward to meet it. Their fists collided again. Boom! A column of force connected the battlefield to the clouds. The shockwave passed across the burning city. Windows shattered. Flames bent beneath the wind. Deep inside the capital, Goku stopped. His head turned toward the distant explosion. Two powerful energies filled the sky. Vegeta's, and something darker, something heavy, something alive. Goku felt the dark presence suddenly shift again. No movement between the two locations. It was simply in one place, then another. Goku frowned. Were you fighting, Vegeta? Above the battlefield, Vegeta and the evil Lord vanished. Boom! They reappeared higher in the sky. Vegeta's fist struck the demon's forearm. The impact split the clouds around them. Wrath swung its other claw. Vegeta ducked beneath it, drove his knee into the demon's stomach, then seized one of its horns. He hurled the enormous creature through the air. Wrath's wings opened. Its body stopped violently. Before it could recover, Vegeta appeared above it. His heel descended. Then, everything stopped. Vegeta became motionless. His boot remained inches from Wrath's skull. The demon slowly raised its eyes. It moved aside. One claw closed around Vegeta's ankle. The other drew back. Time resumed. Vegeta's heel struck empty air. His eyes widened. Wrath twisted, and through him, boom! Vegeta tore through the clouds like a projectile. Wrath pursued. Its wings folded against its back as it descended after him. Vegeta stopped himself in midair. He looked up. Wrath's fist crashed into his face. Crack! His body spun through the sky. The demon struck him again, then again. Each blow drove Vegeta farther from the battlefield. For the first time, the evil lord was controlling the exchange. Vegeta's body suddenly disappeared. Wrath's next punch struck nothing. Vegeta reappeared beneath its chest. Both hands locked together. Enough! Boom! The blow folded the demon around his fists and launched it toward the clouds. Vegeta followed immediately. A blue streak overtook the burning figure. He seized Wrath by the throat and drove it higher. The air thinned. The battlefield became distant beneath them. Armies looked like dark stains across the earth. Vegeta tightened his grip. You've hidden yourself. His fingers pressed deeper into the demon's neck. You've attacked from behind. His aura flared. And now you're using some cheap trick to move when I can't see you. Wrath stared into his eyes. Yet even while being strangled, the demon laughed. A deep sound rolled through the sky. Vegeta's expression darkened. What's so amusing? You. Wrath's flames crawled across Vegeta's arm. You speak as though the world beneath us belongs to you. Vegeta scoffed. You wouldn't understand. Then explain. Vegeta pulled the demon closer. You're standing before the prince of all Saiyans. For a moment, Wrath said nothing. Then its burning mouth curved into a smile. A prince. Its eyes burned brighter. Where is your kingdom? Vegeta's grip stopped tightening. Where are your subjects? The demon's voice grew heavier. Where is the throne awaiting your return? Vegeta's eyes widened slightly. Wrath leaned closer despite the hand crushing its throat. I see no prince. The flames surrounding its body erupted. Only a homeless warrior wearing the title of a dead people. Vegeta became completely still. Far below, the battlefield trembled. His aura vanished, not weakened, compressed, pulled so tightly around his body that the air began screaming. Wrath's smile widened. Tell me, Prince of Nothing, how can a title without a kingdom be anything but false? Vegeta's face changed. The arrogance disappeared. The irritation disappeared. What remained was something colder, something murderous. His fingers dug into Wrath's throat. You should have kept your mouth shut. Vegeta's arm moved. Wrath's eyes widened. He hurled the demon upward. Boom! The air exploded. The evil lord became a burning streak, launched toward the heavens with such force that the clouds above it split apart. Its wings tried to open. They couldn't. The pressure pinned them against its back. Flames were torn from its body. Its arms refused to move. Its jaws opened, but no words escaped. Wrath continued rising. Higher. Faster. The battlefield disappeared beneath it. The burning city became a distant glow. The armies became nothing more than dark marks upon the earth. Wrath forced one claw forward. It needed only a moment. One spell. One instant in which time would cease. But Vegeta had given it none. Far below, he brought both hands together beside his body. Purple light ignited between his palms. Small at first, then brighter, brighter. Violet rays burst outward, cutting through the clouds and stretching across the night sky. The earth beneath Vegeta trembled. Every soldier looked upward. Every demi-human stopped. Inside the burning city, Goku froze beside a collapsed building. His eyes widened. He knew that energy. Vegeta, above the battlefield, Demiurge's smile disappeared. For the first time, The warrior's energy was no longer contained within his body. It was gathering outside him, condensing, growing. The magical image before Demiurge began to distort. Purple light swallowed its surface. His eyes widened. That is, Vegeta thrust both hands toward the sky. Gallic, wrath stopped rising. For the briefest instant, the evil lord looked down. Far beneath it, 2 points of white light burned inside Vegeta's purple aura. Gawoon! The heavens turned violet. Boom! A colossal beam erupted from Vegeta's hands. It crossed the distance instantly. Wrath never completed its spell, never moved, never defended itself. The purple light swallowed the evil lord whole. Armor vanished. Flames vanished. Flesh and bone disappeared together. There was nothing left to regenerate. Nothing upon which greater heal could act. The beam continued beyond it, piercing the clouds, climbing into the darkness above the world, until it appeared as though a second purple sun had been born in the heavens. Night became day. Every shadow across the battlefield disappeared. The magical image before Demiurge turned completely white. Cracks spread across its surface. Then, it shattered. Demiurge did not move. Around him, the hidden observers fell silent. The field of the unclean flickered across the battlefield. Once, twice, then collapsed. The strength flowing through the surviving demons disappeared with it. Far below, the demi-human army stared into the sky. Their champion was gone. The being they had believed could not be killed had vanished in a single flash. The purple beam narrowed. Its light slowly faded. Darkness returned to the world. Vegeta remained alone above the clouds. His arms lowered. Smoke curled from his gloves. He stared into the empty sky where Wrath had disappeared. Prince of Nothing. His eyes narrowed. Remember that title in hell. Below him, a weapon fell from a demi-human's hand. Then another. The front ranks began stepping backward. Some looked toward the sky. Others looked toward the burning city. Then one turned and ran. That was enough. Fear tore through the army. Formations broke apart. Demi-humans abandoned their shields. Siege crews fled from their weapons. Officers shouted commands that no one obeyed. Thousands began retreating at once. Vegeta looked down upon them. His palm lifted slightly. A faint purple glow appeared. Then he saw them throwing down their weapons, running, trampling one another in their desperation to escape. Vegeta's lip curled. The light in his palm disappeared. Pathetic. Killing them now would prove nothing. He turned away, but the Holy Kingdom's soldiers did not. From the shattered gates, a horn sounded. Then another answered. Battered soldiers raised their heads. They had seen the demon disappear. They had seen the enemy begin to run. Remedio's Custodio lifted her sword. Her armor was broken. Blood covered one side of her face. But her voice carried across the battlefield. The demon is dead. The retreating soldiers stopped. Hope moved through them, slowly at first. Then like fire, Remedios pointed her blade toward the fleeing army. They showed our people no mercy. Her eyes burned with rage. Drive them from our land. The Holy Kingdom charged. Battered shields slammed together. Cavalry emerged through the broken gates. Archers climbed the surviving walls and fired into the retreating horde. Arrows darkened the sky. Demi-humans fell by the hundreds. Those who tried to reform their ranks were crushed beneath the advancing soldiers. Those who surrendered were dragged to the ground. Those who continued running were pursued. Days of terror, weeks of slaughter. Every village burned. Every family lost. The Holy Kingdom remembered all of it. And now, they answered. Inside the city, Goku tore through a collapsed wall. Stone exploded outward. Several civilians huddled beneath the remains of a staircase. A mother covered her child with her body. An elderly man lay beside them, barely breathing. Goku landed among the rubble. It's okay. He smiled. I'm getting you out. The mother stared at him. Behind Goku, a demi-human raised its sword. Goku's elbow moved. Crack! The attacker disappeared through 3 buildings. Goku never looked back. He lifted the broken staircase with one hand. Come on. The soldiers are taking the city back. Far above, Vegeta descended through the clouds. Smoke drifted from his gloves. The last traces of purple light faded behind him. He looked down at the retreating army. The Holy Kingdom soldiers had already reached them. Swords rose and fell. Spears drove into broken formations. Vegeta watched for several seconds, then turned away. They were no longer interested in him. At the edge of the battlefield, Prince Caspond stood among a group of wounded nobles. His clothing was torn. Dirt covered his face. To everyone around him, he appeared exhausted, shaken, relieved. The demon is dead. One noble began to laugh. Another fell to his knees. We won. Caspond slowly looked toward the sky. Vegeta remained visible above the clouds. Far inside the city, buildings shook as Goku continued tearing through the ruins in search of survivors. Caspond watched both of them, carefully, silently. Then he lowered his head. "Your Highness." A paladin stepped toward him. Caspond smiled weakly. "Help the wounded." The paladin bowed. At once, Caspond waited until the surrounding soldiers moved away. Then he stepped behind the remains of a command tent. The sounds of victory became distant. His smile disappeared. From beneath his torn clothing, he removed a small black stone. Its surface pulsed once. Caspond closed his hand around it. The evil lord has been destroyed. Far from the battlefield, Demiurge stood before the remains of his shattered magical screen. Cracks covered the lenses of his glasses. His hidden observers waited behind him. None dared speak. The black stone carried Caspond's voice through the darkness. The demi-human army has collapsed. The Holy Kingdom has begun its counterattack. A pause followed, and the two outsiders remained separated. Demiurge adjusted his glasses. His expression had returned to normal. "Continue observing." Caspond lowered his voice. "Should preparations be made for another assault?" "No." Demiurge looked at the fragments of a shattered screen. Within one broken piece, a final image remained. Vegeta, completely motionless during time's stop. Demiurge's smile slowly returned. "We have already obtained what we came for." Caspond's eyes shifted toward the battlefield. The surviving soldiers were cheering. Banners of the Holy Kingdom rose above the ruined walls. They believe they have won. Demiurge turned away from the screen. "Good." A dark gateway opened before him. Beyond it, nothing could be seen. "Let them." He stepped toward the darkness. The next battlefield, his glasses flashed, will not belong to them. Hours later, the fires still burned, but the screaming had begun to fade. Holy Kingdom soldiers moved through the ruined streets, carrying the wounded toward whatever shelters remained. Others pursued the retreating demi-humans beyond the walls. Inside the city, Goku lowered the last piece of broken stone. Beneath it, a wounded woman clung to a young boy. Both were alive. Goku smiled. "There you are." He lifted them carefully and carried them toward the waiting soldiers. Then, a familiar presence descended behind him. Goku glanced over his shoulder. Vegeta landed in the street. His armor was covered in dust. Small cracks ran across one shoulder. A thin line of dried blood remained beside his mouth. But he walked as though nothing had happened. Goku handed the survivors to a healer. "So," Vegeta continued past him. "So what? What was that thing?" "An insect." Goku looked toward the sky. The clouds were still divided where the Gallic gun had passed through them. Purple light lingered faintly beyond the atmosphere. "That was a pretty big attack for an insect." Vegeta stopped. "It irritated me." Goku studied him. Vegeta's fists remained clenched. His energy had calmed, but not completely. Something angry still burned beneath it. Goku tilted his head. Was it because of that strange ability? Vegeta's eyes shifted toward him. What ability? It kept changing positions. Goku lifted one hand, trying to explain. 1 second it was in front of you, then it was somewhere else. No movement, no energy between. Vegeta's expression hardened. For a moment, he remembered it. His body refusing to move, his senses recording nothing. An entire moment taken from him without his knowledge. Then Wrath's voice returned. "Prince of Nothing, a false title, a dead people." Vegeta's fist tightened. It was a cheap trick, Goku noticed. But before he could ask, Vegeta walked past him, and it didn't save him. Goku watched him leave. Right? Vegeta disappeared around the corner. Goku scratched the side of his face. He's angrier than usual. He looked back toward the divided sky. Was it really just because of that ability? Far away, within the Great Tomb of Nazarick, the throne room stood silent. Ainz Ooal Gown sat upon the throne. Albedo stood beside him. The floor guardians remained kneeling below. Before them, Demiurge adjusted his glasses. The evil Lord of Wrath has been completely destroyed. No one moved. Ainz stared down at him. Completely destroyed? What does that mean? Destroyed enough that resurrection is impossible? Was it the purple attack? How powerful was that thing? Could it penetrate Nazarick? Could it destroy an entire floor? His non-existent stomach twisted. A green light passed over his body. His emotions were suppressed. Outwardly, Ainz remained perfectly calm. Continue. Demiurge bowed. Yes, Ainz-sama. Conventional physical force proved ineffective. Elemental attacks produced similarly poor results. Fire, lightning, and direct magical bombardment failed to cause meaningful injury. One of the magical images changed. Goku appeared within the burning city. Elder liches surrounded him. Spells struck from several directions. Flames burst across his body. Lightning crawled over his arms. Dark projectiles exploded against his back. Goku emerged unharmed. Then another image appeared. A distortion formed beside Goku's arm. Space bent inward. For the first time, Goku moved to defend himself. The distortion struck. His body was pushed backward, only several feet, but enough. Demiurge's eyes sharpened. Only one spell produced a measurable response. The attack did little damage. However, unlike the others, he did not ignore it. Ainz leaned forward slightly. Spatial magic. That is my hypothesis. Demiurge changed the image again. Vegeta froze before the evil lord. The flames stopped. The clouds stopped. Everything became motionless. Wrath moved behind him. Time manipulation was even more successful. During time stop, the blue-clad warrior became completely immobile. He displayed no awareness, no resistance, and no ability to perceive what occurred within the missing interval. Albedo raised her eyes. Then he can be killed during stop time. Not necessarily. Demiurge's answer came immediately. The evil lord struck him repeatedly. The damage remained insufficient. Stopping him is possible. Killing him before time resumes is another matter. Silence returned. Inside Ainz's mind, possibilities exploded. Time stop worked. That was good. No, it was more than good. It might be the first real advantage they possessed. But what could he cast during it? Delayed magic? Reality / time to activate when the spell ended? Triplet maximize magic? Grass part? Would instant death magic work at all? These creatures possessed absurd physical ability. But did that mean their resistance statistics were equally high? Could true death affect them? What about despair aura? The goal of all life is death. Would 12 seconds ever be enough? And if none of those worked, his thoughts moved toward Nazarick's treasury. Divine class equipment. Cash items. The staff of Ainz Ooal Gown. World items. For a fraction of a second, Ainz imagined removing one of Nazarick's greatest treasures and using it against the two outsiders. Panic surged through him. Use a world item? Against only two enemies? What if it failed? What if they took it? What if they possessed world items of their own? The green light returned. His emotions flattened. Demiurge continued. There's another important discovery. The images changed once more. Undead surrounded Goku from every street. Vegeta floated above dozens of concealed spellcasters. Neither reacted until an attack became visible. They cannot perceive mana directly. They locate living beings through another form of energy. Undead creatures remain almost completely invisible to this sense. Concealment magic also prevented the blue warrior from detecting the evil lord until physical contact became unavoidable. Ainz's red lights narrowed. So raw power is not the answer. No, Ainz-sama. A faint smile appeared on Demiurge's face. Against opponents such as these, raw power is the least efficient answer. Albedo looked toward him. You already have another plan. Demiurge bowed his head. I possess the beginning of one. Ainz remained motionless. Of course he does. Naturally, Demiurge has already planned 20 steps ahead. Meanwhile, I'm wondering whether Grasspart will even make them uncomfortable. He could feel every guardian waiting for his response. Ainz slowly raised one hand. Explain. Demiurge looked toward the frozen image of Vegeta. We should not confront them together. We should not fight them beneath an open sky. And we should never provide them with a clear target upon which they may release that energy. The image shifted to Goku. Separate them. Demiurge lifted one finger. Conceal every living presence. A second finger. Surround them with forces they cannot sense. A third. Restrict space. A fourth. Then remove time. The smile on his face widened. Once immobilized, we test death magic. Spatial severance. Mental effects. Curses. And every higher-tier phenomenon unavailable to the forces deployed today. Ainz stared at him. And if those fail, Demiurge adjusted his glasses. Then we will have learned what must replace them. The throne room became completely silent. Demiurge looked at the two warriors upon the magical screens. One stood among the people he had saved. The other walked alone through the ruined city. Neither knew they were still being observed. We cannot overpower them. Demiurge's eyes glowed behind his lenses. So, I will devise a battlefield where power has no value. Ainz felt another wave of panic building. But Demiurge was not finished. I will separate them, blind them, exhaust them, and when every possible path has been removed, his smile became almost invisible. I will place them inside a prison from which even time cannot escape.
And that's where we'll end the episode. If you enjoyed the story, leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments.